Welcome to Bosco Campus Vision. You're watching the campus television channel of Don Bosco College, Kottayam. This lecture is on the prescribed syllabus of second semester BA English Literature and Language, and the paper is Modern English Grammar, Usage and Writing. I'm going to discuss the topic clause. First of all, let's see the difference between a phrase and a clause. Phrases and clauses are both parts of a sentence. Look at these two sentences. First sentence, he has a chain of gold. Second sentence, he has a chain which is made of gold. In the first sentence, recognize the group of words of gold as a phrase. In the second sentence, group of words contains a subject and a predicate. In this sentence, which is the subject and is made of gold is a predicate. So we can say that a group of words which makes sense but not complete sense is called a phrase, and a group of words which forms part of a sentence and contains a subject and a predicate of its own is called a clause. In its simplest form, in grammar, a clause is a subject plus a verb. The subject is the entity doing the action of the sentence, and the verb is the action that subject completes. A clause creates a complete thought, that is, an idea or a statement that can stand alone. It should be noted too that a clause in a sentence is different from a phrase in that it must contain a subject and a verb. Let's see the types of clause and its subdivisions. Clause is divided into two types. First, independent clause, and second, dependent clause. Independent clause is also known as principal clause or main clause. Dependent clause is also known as subordinate clause. Dependent clause is further divided into noun or nominal clause, adjective or relative clause, adverbial or adverb clause, conditional or if clause. Now, let's see what is an independent clause. An independent clause is a part of a sentence that can stand alone in a sentence. It contains a subject and a verb in its smallest form. A clause may also include modifiers and a verb predicate. It is a complete thought and the smallest unit of grammar that is syntactically accurate. See the example. Dad will pick us up when the game is over. Here, Dad will pick us up is an independent clause. In this, Dad is the subject and will pick is the verb phrase. So, the clause expresses a complete thought and can stand on its own as a sentence. Another example, I eat bananas. This gives a complete thought. Therefore, it is an independent clause. In writing, words and modifiers can be rearranged in independent clauses to create interest. For example, I eat bananas in the kitchen. Another one, in the kitchen I eat. Here, I eat is the subject and verb. An object, bananas, and a prepositional phrase, in the kitchen, have been added to the clause to make it more specific. So we can say that the entire sentence is an independent clause because it is a complete thought statement. Next, let's see what is a dependent clause. A dependent clause contains a subject and a verb. However, they cannot stand alone as an independent thought. They must be joined with an independent clause to be grammatically correct. For example, every night before I go to bed, I eat bananas. Here, I eat bananas is an independent clause. In this sentence, a dependent clause, that is, every night before I go to bed, opens the sentence. Although the dependent clause contains a subject and a verb, that is, I go. Here, I is the subject and go is the verb. It cannot stand alone as a complete thought. Now, let's discuss the types of dependent clause. First one, noun or nominal clause. So what is a noun clause? A noun clause is a type of dependent clause that acts as a noun in the sentence. A noun clause will always contain a subject and a verb. However, it cannot stand alone as a complete thought. For example, I remember what you said yesterday. Here, I remember is the independent clause that can stand alone, and what you said yesterday serve as a dependent noun clause. The noun clause is acting as the object of the sentence. In the noun clause, you said, there is a subject plus a verb. You is the subject and said is the verb. However, what you said yesterday cannot stand alone and therefore must be paired with an independent clause. Next is adjective clause or relative clause. An adjective clause is a type of dependent clause that acts as an adjective in the sentence. An adjective clause will always contain a subject and a verb. However, it cannot stand alone as a complete thought. Remember, an adjective clause will always begin with one of the following words: that, where, who, whom, which. These are the relative pronouns. And when, where, why. These are the relative adverbs with which an adjective clause begins. See the example. The boy whom you saw at the store committed a robbery. In the sentence, whom you saw at the store is the adjective clause that is acting as an adjective. The adjective clause describes the boy. It contains a subject and a verb. You saw. However, it cannot stand alone as a complete thought. So we can say that whom you saw at the store is not a complete statement and is a dependent clause. Therefore, it must be paired with an independent clause. Next is adverbial or adverb clause. An adverbial clause is a type of dependent clause that acts as an adverb in the sentence. An adverb clause will always contain a subject and a verb. However, it cannot stand alone as a complete thought. For example, you will continue driving north until you see a stop sign. The adverbial clause is acting as an adverb in the sentence. The adverbial clause modifies how you will drive. The adverbial clause contains a subject and verb. You will continue. However, it cannot stand alone as a complete thought. So we can say that until you see a stop sign is not a complete statement and therefore must be paired with an independent clause. Always remember that an adverb clause is a type of dependent clause that modifies an adjective, an adverb, or a verb or verb phrase. An adverb clause begins with words such as after, although, because, before, if, since, than, until, when, and while. Here we have some more examples of adverb clause. First example, I will stay at the house until you arrive. Here, until you arrive is an adverb clause. It contains the subject you and the verb arrive. The clause modifies the verb phrase will stay. In this, the adverb clause begins with the word until. Another example, when they arrived at the station, they ran to get the train. Here, when they arrived at the station is an adverb clause. It contains the subject they and the verb arrived. The clause modifies the verb ran. Here the clause when they arrived at the station opens the sentence. See another example. My cell phone does not work well when the temperature gets too low. Here, when the temperature gets too low is an adverb clause. It contains the subject temperature and the verb gets. The clause modifies the adverb well. So in the second and third example, you can see that the adverb clause begins with when. Now, let's see some of the uses of conditional or if clause. Conditional or if clause is used to express cause-effect relationships for physical conditions. For example, if you see dark clouds in the sky, you can expect rains. Here, if you see dark clouds in the sky is the conditional or if clause. It is used to suggest habitual action. Example, if you exercise daily, you will reduce weight faster. Here, if you exercise daily is the conditional or if clause. Next, it is used to show real conditions. Example, if you have work, we will go to the movie on another day. In this sentence, if you have work is the conditional or if clause. Also, it is used to show actions when certain conditions are fulfilled. For example, if my father agrees to pick me up after the function, I can come. Here, if my father agrees to pick me up after the function is the conditional or if clause. It is used to show willingness and likelihood or probability. For example, unless you tell me your problems, I cannot help. In this, unless you tell me your problems is the conditional or if clause. It is also used for unreal conditions. Example, If I had come to the party, I could have met my friend. In this, if I had come to the party is the conditional or if clause. It is also used for imaginary conditions. For example, if I were a superman, I could have stopped all these crimes happening in the city. In this sentence, if I were a superman is the conditional or if clause. Now solve the given questions and find out the answers. In this lecture, we have discussed clause and its types. Hope you have understood the topic. Stay healthy, stay safe, and God bless you all. Thank you.